I'm going to let Sandy Starkweather give us a brief update on what's going on with the IARPC revisioning right now. So, Sandy, would you like to take it away from here?
Yep, I shall. Jessica's just going to make me the presenter. I have a few slides that are also going to be on the website that folks can follow along with. Let's see. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll try to keep this brief. So as Jeremy mentioned, there was a workshop in December, and I'm going to provide a little bit of background on where that workshop came from and where those results are going. At the time, we were using this terminology of revisioning, which we've now modified, and we're going to be talking about our update process, because in the process of taking a step back and doing some big picture work, which is more appropriately called revisioning, what we came down to was that what we really need to do is update our plan. So as most of you know who've been involved in the collaboration teams, IARPC's enabling legislation mandates that it develop a 5-year plan. The plan we're operating under now was released in January of 2013 and spans FY12 to FY17. And so our current plan is gonna run out at the end of FY17, and we have to update it to be consistent with our enabling legislation. But we also know that there's a lot of good reasons why we should update it anyway, and those include a lot of the new inputs from within and outside of government that impact Arctic research, but also new capabilities that have been developed since we released our last plan. So one example of a new capability that's been developed is that we've really stood up this IARPC collaborations infrastructure to support our last plan. That is our collaboration teams, our 12 collaboration teams, and the website itself. These both present a tremendous network for understanding what's happening in Arctic research and where the opportunities are for best coordinating it. And they also work very in complementary ways with a plan. Last year, this time, an executive order created the Arctic Executive Steering Committee to oversee the implementation of the national strategy for the Arctic region. IARPC is heavily involved in of the 3 lines of effort of NSAR. IARPC is heavily involved with the 2nd line of effort, and so understanding how these connect with the bigger picture of the national strategy and this new capability for coordination within government is really important. And another important input was that our sister committee, or sister commission, the U.S. Arctic Research Commission, recently released a new research goals and objectives report for 2016. And we took these and other considerations, IARPC principles, in May of last year, and they directed the IARPC staff group to set about the process of reviewing what worked well the last time and making recommendations for what we should do with the next plan. So in addition to that charge from the principals, they've also been giving us some guidance that has sort of helped us along to think about how we're going to do what we do next. That guidance included the idea that we should create within the plan stronger ties to national policy, so that the research that we're doing is politically understandable to people who are not as closely tied to Arctic research. But they also wanted to see a plan that was more focused than our last plan. Our last plan is, for those of you familiar with it, while it is focused on those things that would benefit most from interagency collaboration, there's a lot there. There's 150 milestones in the plan. It's not a plan that can be readily summarized, and so the principals really wanted to see where the opportunities were for us to focus this work. We've also gotten a considerable amount of input from the collaboration enterprise itself through the various team leaders at a workshop a year ago and in various meetings in between. Team leaders expressed that they'd like to see stronger ties, in particular between the milestones in the plan and what agencies are planning to do. You know, with 150 milestones in the plan and some of them not having the strongest language or the most direct ties to agency work, this is a difficult part of implementation that we have an opportunity to address right now. The team leaders also wanted to see stronger ties to stakeholder communities inside the plan as well. So from the direction from the principals to the staff group to take a look at these things, we convened a subgroup, a federal-only subgroup of IARPC. We worked on some white papers to understand where the opportunities were to improve, do better, and build off of the successes that IARPC has seen to date. And this background work became the read-ahead inputs to our workshop that we hosted December 1st and 2nd. The workshop was both feds and non-feds. It included all of the team leaders from the 12 IARPC collaboration teams. It included people from IARPC staff, but also people from within government working in related activities, and then some of our outside partners who've been involved in work that we wanted to learn more about and get more inputs on. It was a highly participatory workshop. We got a ton of great feedback from it. I'll show you a little bit about how we're intending to structure the plan, which relates to these research goals and research objectives. But I also just wanted to highlight, I won't read through this in detail, but just to say that this is a sampling of the kinds of inputs that went both into the workshop and that moving ahead from the workshop, this IARPC subgroup is going to be considering as it moves ahead and makes its recommendations back to the principals. This is sort of a glimpse at what we're thinking about in terms of the structure of the plan. At its highest level, the idea is that it will be policy-driven. Again, these drivers that are listed give you a flavor of what we mean by that. And then below that, it'll just have a hierarchical structure that includes research goals, research objectives, and performance elements that are along the lines of milestones. Our timeline moving forward is that we're going to distill the key recommendations both from the workshop and from the key inputs for those two highest tiers of the plan for the policy drivers and the goals for consideration by the principals, which is really going to set the scope for what we do moving forward. By March 1st, we will have shown this to the principals and gotten their feedback on it. And then following that is going to be our writing and public review process. And just a little bit more about how to get involved. The first and best way to get involved in the process is engagement in the collaboration teams and bringing your ideas forward to collaboration team leaders. For those of you who are going to be at Arctic Science Summit Week, this is a point at which we will have gotten the feedback we were seeking on the plan scope from the principals, and we'll have more to share about the details, and we'll be really looking for good input from the bottom up about what we can do at the research objective level, performance element level. Additionally, we're going to try and host more listening sessions throughout the summer. And of course, we're going to repeat the Federal Register notice process that we did the last time. So I'm happy to field questions on that. And that is all I had on that for now.
All right, thanks for that great overview, Sandy. Does anyone have questions?
Jeremy, Sandy, this is Renee. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just a very brief comment. Jessica suggested I send this to Sarah, but since you are eliciting comments, I suggest that policy driver number 3 be environmental stewardship, not conservation.
Thanks, Renee. Yeah, that actually was just some sort of draft example language from a previous version. In the current language for the policy drivers, it is stewardship. So thanks for the comment. It's good reinforcement on where we were headed with that.
Great. Thanks so much, Lee.
All right. Any more questions out there? All right, hearing none, we're going to switch over.